Hey guys, welcome back to Boys and Ghouls Film Review. I'm your host, Sarah Stephenson, and this is my co-host, Mike Stephenson.
Hi guys.
And tonight we're reviewing that comedy classic, or comedy
it is a classic.
a comedy Star Wars spin-off of Star Wars.
Why do you waffle? We're reviewing a comedy classic, Spaceballs,
Balls.
the movie, a Mel Brooks film, which is a satirical comic science fiction film based on Star Wars. There you go. Did I fix it for you?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
And I think I should mention, when they were making this movie, Mel Brooks approached dear old George Lucas and to confirm if whether or not to do this film or not. And he was cool with it because at the time he was trying to wait until the franchise this was back in the 1980s, and we didn't. And he was probably wondering whether or not George might make some more Star Wars movies after Return of the Jedi
at that point in time.
At that time.
No.
So, but luckily enough, he wanted to wait.
George came on board.
Yeah, and dear old Mel wanted to include a lot of funny comedy bits as much as from the original Star Wars movies as possible.
He wanted to follow the storyline as much as possible while making a parody of it,
Right.
without actually copying the script. However, there was a caveat. George Lucas said you can do it, but you can't merchandise. You cannot sell any figurines. You can't do this because it'll be so similar to the Star Wars ones because they're similar characters. Aha! So that was I think it was only major caveat because George Lucas. I think Skywalker Studios were involved in it, different things.
Yeah, I mean, I should mention, dear old George Lucas, in his nice capacity, offered some stock footage from his his Star Wars films, to use in this production.
Exactly. So George is on top of it, on board. I don't know what Steven.
Yeah, one of the scenes was where the escape pods, the bit where they were just jettisoned off the Spaceballs, whatever.
Spaceball one.
That bit of footage came from the Star Wars movies, or the first one that was done,
Probably.
the New Hope one.
Okay. Can we move on now?
Yes.
Okay. Now, can I go through the other bits?
Yes.
Okay. Now, this is a Mel Brooks movie. As with Mel Brooks, he does get his hands dirty. And I mean to say that Mel Brooks produced it, Mel Brooks directed it, Mel Brooks was one of the writers.
And he's a bit of a songwriter too.
He didn't do any songs for this one.
Actually, did he did the Spaceballs one?
Did he? Okay, I'll take you over. I didn't think I went through the music. I didn't see it. I thought another guy did all the stuff, and they used some other artists' tunes as well. No, I could be wrong. Okay, I'll let you go with that. Anyway, and he also did 2 parts in the movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, 2 main parts.
Very clever.
Very
Just so you guys
talented.
know, if you haven't bothered to watch Mel Brooks movies lately, dear old Mel Brooks makes a cameo or makes himself the main star in some of them.
Well, yeah, most of them. Yeah, I mean that's unlike Alfred Hitchcock. You see for about 3 or 4 seconds. Mel Brooks was a major player in most, if not all, of his movies.
Yeah, and just so you guys know, I'm a big fan of Mel Brooks. He's one of my favorite directors and writers.
Man.
And he's up there with dear old George Lucas and Steven Spielberg,
he's in good
and
company, yeah.
dear old George A. Romero and all the other guys.
Yeah, all the guys we like.
Yes.
Anyway, now, I will go through some actors here, but description, because it's a parody, I'll explain the parts a little bit as well as some. So, yeah, here we go. The list is endless. Okay, Bill Pullman plays Lone Star, who's based on a composite role of Han Solo and Luke Skywalker.
And another thing about his name is it was taken from the Texas country called the Lone Star State.
Okay. You said you wouldn't interfere while I was doing the cast.
No, I was just thought I might put that in for interesting information.
Fine. Well, I thought Lone Star and Han Solo by himself, Lone by himself, hello, could have been. Now, moving right along, John Candy, he plays Barf, which is a Mog, which is a half man, half dog. He's based on Chewbacca. Now, Daphne is, now I'm not quite sure how to pronounce the last name, Zuniga, Zuniga, plays Princess Vespa, and she's based on Princess Leia. Surprise, surprise. Mel Brooks, here we go. Yogurt. Just plain yogurt. Based on Yoda. And President Scroob, which is actually Brooks. The letters in Brooks' last name jiggled around a little bit.
Yeah.
And he's based on Emperor Palpatine. Rick Moranis plays Dark Helmet, based on you-know-who. Dick Van Patten, he's only got, I wouldn't say, he's only doing a normal role. He plays King Roland, which is Princess Vespa's dad. Now, George Weiner, W-Y-N-E-R, he plays Colonel Sanders. Based on Grand Moff Tarkin.
And based off the KFC Colonel.
I think everybody knows who Colonel Sanders is, okay? I don't think you need to tell them. Now, almost the end of it. Now, there's a robot in here. Only one robot, Dot Matrix, based on C-3PO. Now, it was acted by Lauren Yarnell and voiced by Joan Rivers.
And just so you guys know, she took on the appearance of Joan Rivers.
Actually, she did a little bit too when you think about it. I never thought about that, but yeah, possibly. Anyway, and lastly but not leastly, the naughty guy, Pizza the Hut, who does actually have a major role in this. Pizza Hut was based on you-know-who, Jabba the Hutt, and was voiced by Dom DeLuise. Now, Dom DeLuise was in a lot of Mel Brooks movies in one way or another, main role, semi-role, whatever. Now, lastly but not leastly, being a parody of different movies as well. Thrown into this, here we have John Hurt, who makes a cameo appearance. He's a parodying, parody of his character in the Alien film, where he had that alien come out of his chest? Or they're at the diner.
Yeah.
And they reenact it there. It's quite funny, very hilarious. Mel Brooks, very talented. Now, I'm going to say something here.
Okay.
As with many Mel Brooks movies, they definitely aren't politically correct by today's standards. I know by no stretch of the imagination he is disrespectful, rude, and everything else which makes a damn fine Mel Brooks movie, and I think it's funny.
Yeah.
Mel is a talent.
And I think he does a good job doing it.
Now, going back to the box office stuff, I'm quite surprised on a couple of things here.
Me too.
It cost about $22 million to make, obviously for sets and special effects or whatever, because obviously it came over pretty good. And box office only at 38. Now I'll talk about the reviews later, but I was quite surprised. But there are some weird comments about it, and I'll address them later. Now, basically the overview, it's obviously, I think it really takes Star Wars 4, 5, and 6 and runs into one movie. The good guys battle the bad guys, they blow up the bad guys.
Yeah.
And whatever, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
And the leading male and the leading female end up together in the end. Yay. So, yeah.
And a bit of feminism thrown in somewhere.
A bit of feminism, yeah. Girl power ladies, you like that?
Yeah, I often
She wasn't a girly whirly? No, she wasn't.
Yeah,
no.
well, I do hate it when to present movies, they keep overdoing it.
They
sometimes.
either make them too feminine or too butch. It's a good balance. It's quite funny, quite good.
Yeah.
Anyway, now do you want to take over telling the story therein?
Yes, I will, Mike. So it starts off with Princess Vespa, who's going to get married to Prince Valium.
Yeah, and he's a narcoleptic idiot.
Yeah, he's always sleeping throughout this. It's like he's bored or something.
After sleep. That's what narcoleptic is.
Yes. Anyway, and dear old Dark Helmet and his cohorts and Colonel Sanders are trying to steal the air off her planet.
Yeah, Vespa's and her daddy, King Roland's planet. They want to steal the air because they wasted all theirs.
Yes.
I don't know how you waste air, but
sounds familiar.
maybe a political rally.
Probably.
Whatever.
Can you imagine that, guys? Anyway.
I go there.
So, anyway, she ditches the groom and she makes her run for it, like a runaway bride.
Yes, well, you like runaway bride. There was another parody thrown in there, maybe.
Well, that one came much later on.
Oh,
but,
okay.
And it doesn't
Maybe
really...
they copied Mel Brooks.
Yeah, who knows? So anyway,
Whatever.
she gets a droid, and they jump into their spacecraft, which I should mention as a bit of a joke. Let's see.
It's a Mercedes.
I'm shut up, you. So.
Oh yeah. Dad got a good deal.
Yeah, here it is. On the license plate on the princess's, Mercedes, it read "Spoiled Rotten 1."
Oh, that's it. I didn't notice that. No, well, there you go. The spoiled rotten one.
I didn't notice that until now.
Well,
So, anyway, she heads off, and, of course, King Roland is a bit angry that his daughter is just ran the coop, or fled the coop.
Oh.
Anyway, meanwhile, Captain Lone Star and his dog Bath, they are...
Mog. Yeah, whatever.
His dog.
It's not spelt Mog. It's Morg or something or other.
Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Carry on.
Bath and him are... Shut up. Never rude. So anyway, they owe like lots and lots of money to Pizza the Hut.
Yeah. And
unfortunately it's doubled or tripled.
Quadrupled, whatever. It went from about 200,000 space bucks or whatever to $1 million. A bit interest,
Something to do with
fees,
lateness or late fees.
Hey, a Lone Star is being gobbled up by a lone shark. Sorry.
Yeah, or at least Pizza the Hut.
Oh, Pizza.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. So anyway, soon enough, the Dark Helmet is tracking Princess Vespa's plane, and he starts using the tractor beam to... Well, not really. At first, he uses a warning shots on the little boat, on the little ship. And of course, and this is where the funny bit comes in.
Everything's funny in it.
Yes, like he says, "Careful!" I said across her nose, not up it.
Yeah, when it's firing out.
And we see the guy has his eyes cross-eyed.
Yeah.
And he asks him, "Who got this guy? Who hired this guy?" And he says, and another guy says, "I did, sir. He's my cousin."
And he's cross-eyed too.
And he asks Colonel Sanders, "Who is that guy?" And he says, "He's an asshole." And of course, Dark Helmet says, "I know that. What's his name?" And Colonel Sanders says, "He's an asshole. He says he's major asshole." And his cousin's name is an asshole.
Correct, is it?
And he says, "How many assholes we have on this ship anyway?"
All stand up.
Yo.
I'm surrounded by assholes.
And of course, he says,
Go on,
then he ends it by saying, "Keep firing, assholes."
I'm surrounded by assholes. Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Hey guys, ladies, have you ever been in a place like that where you've been surrounded by... Anyway, don't go there.
Don't go there. So, anyway, Vespa phones her dad and tells her that they're in trouble, and dear old King Roland decides to hire Lone Star to go try to save the princess. Of course, for a very modest fee.
A modest fee, $1 million space bucks.
Yeah.
Well, that's how much they would have cleared the debt with Pizza the Hut, you see.
Oh,
so
true,
$1 million, they clear the debt, not a problem.
problem. So they end up going there, and they see the damage, and they decide to jam the radar
with a big pot of jam.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Fill the blank
raspberry. So technically,
there's only one man who cares. Give me the raspberry.
Yes, exactly. I was going to say that. He definitely gave Dark Helmet the raspberry. Yeah.
Oh man.
It's like that all the way through the movie, folks.
And when the camera, zooms in, I like it whenever throughout the scene, the camera gets in, or the crew get introduced in the scene. I don't know how, but it's kind of amusing.
So you get caught.
Yes.
Yeah. In the background, swing around. Oh, we were watching Robin Hood Men in Tights the other night, and the camera went through a window and different things, and they did something else. You got the crew there, and it's obviously part of the Mel Brooks fun, but
I like it.
Yeah,
I like that he includes. Even though it may not be the real crew.
Well, it might be. There might have been some cameo appearances. You know, who knows?
So anyway,
Carry on.
so eventually Lone Star and Buff were able to rescue the princess along with her matching luggage,
Yes.
her sets of luggage, and he wants to dump it, but she says, "If you so much as dump that luggage, she just gets pissed off at him.
Yeah,
And
really annoyed.
And she says, "How dare you speak to me in that way? I am Princess Vespa, daughter of Owen, King of the Druids."
Oh,
And he's saying, "Oh, that's what we'll need.
a Druish princess.
And Buff says, "Funny, she doesn't look Jewish."
Druish. Yeah.
Jewish.
Yeah,
Jewish.
yeah, and that gets back to little things like I believe Mel Brooks is Jewish, and only a Jewish person can get away with Jewish jokes. It's
Yeah.
the same with Catholics.
You
and
gotta
Catholic
admit,
jokes.
though,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I love it when when a director would do that.
Oh well, poke fun at yourself. Yeah,
Yeah, at least it's okay.
it's good.
Yes.
Funny.
Yes.
Politically incorrect, but still funny.
Yes. So anyway, they eventually go into light speed and all that stuff, and dear old Darth Helmet, in his very weird capacity, decides they would follow them through by using ludicrous speed. And everyone's shocked and realize ludicrous speed will be too fast, or.
And Dark Helmet didn't care.
Yeah, he says,
"Do it."
Yeah, he just turns to Colonel Sanders saying, "What's the matter, Colonel Sanders?
Chicken.
Chicken?"
Yeah, that's. He had a good line. Good
I
line.
love
Yeah.
it, I love it, love it,
Yeah,
love it.
don't tell him everything, every joke through it. We'll
I
never
can't
get
help
through
it. Some of the jokes can be so
But,
funny.
yeah, but- okay, how about when Scrooge's taking a leak and he has to, in his wall is a monitor, and there's a lady there and he's talking. He has to salute her while his thing's still hanging
Yeah,
out.
just so you know, the salute is sort of like
A fist up.
a fist up.
Yeah. It's quite good. It's funny.
It's kinda clever.
Everything's politically wrong. Yeah.
and
but
politically
good.
funny.
It's
So
good.
anyway, they go really, really fast, and they pass dear old Lone Star and his ship.
Yeah, in a blur. What the hell was that? Yeah.
Yeah, Spaceball 1. They gone to Plaid.
Red Plaid. Actually, there's something about some car crowd involved. That's fleeing a Plaid and ludicrous speed, and they actually use those names for some of the models.
Cool.
Yeah.
I gotta admit, every time I hear Lone Star, it makes me think of a rock star. You know, just a name, a nickname for one. Even though we established that Lone Star is just another name for Texas.
Lone Star State, which is Texas, I gather. But you think of Lone Star, I start thinking of things like Starbucks. You know, I like coffee.
Yeah. Anyway, so soon enough, something goes wrong with Lone Star's ship. It starts running out of gasoline.
Yeah, they use too much.
Yes, because they had only $30 to fill it,
Yeah.
or whatever.
They were a bit skint. You know.
So they're skimped. Anyway, they end up crashing on a desert planet that resembles sort of like
a bit like
Tatooine.
Tatooine, and a big beach.
And then they finally. There's an interesting scene here where John Candy does ad-libs in this scene where he forgets to unbuckle his seatbelt in one scene, and he's ad-libs by saying, "Oh, that's gonna leave a mark."
Okay. Oh, whoopee.
Well, just telling you, they
really
kept
good.
it in. Just
We really needed that.
so anyway.
Okay. Sorry,
He
John.
then meets Lone Star meets the princess, and they look smitted.
Smoot.
But eventually, they then carry her stupid luggage across the sands, and you hear
They do leave it by the wayside eventually.
yeah, including a horrible sized
Hair
hair
dryer.
dryer.
Industrial size, about the size of a table.
Yeah, and anyway, they left it there, and we then go back to Dark Helmet and his cohorts, trying to work out where dear old Lone Star might have disappeared to. And
If you
dear
mention
old
combing the desert now,
and dear old Colonel Sanders suggests they look up a videotape of Spaceballs the movie. And they open up a hatch that shows all of Mel Brooks' previous other movies he did. You know, History of the World,
Blazing Saddles,
and Young Frankenstein. You know,
probably 12 Chairs within there, maybe.
and Silent Movie. I think, I'm not sure
Yeah,
if
Silent Movie's
it was
there,
out
yeah,
there
yeah.
already. Of course,
12
Dog.
Chairs? Yeah, whatever.
Anyway,
Anyway,
so
all those movies, yeah.
yeah, so they watch the bits, and it gets to the bit where they're both looking at the camera, and and doing awesome weird stuff there.
Yeah.
I love that bit where they just did that scene where
Yeah.
and they talk about now, then, where all that stuff. And it's-
When's now? Now's then.
It's-
When's then going to be now? Later. Yeah. It reminded me of Abbott Costello doing Who's on First, What's on Second, and that sort of stuff. It's quite funny.
An old-fashioned joke for an old-fashioned
It worked.
get up.
It worked. It's quite humorous. Rick
So-
Moranis handled it quite well.
Yes. Anyway,
Got on Rick.
yeah. Meanwhile, Lone Star and Vesper, they begin to get on, liking each other.
Yeah, getting warm and fluffy.
Yeah, and he confides in her that he was an orphan, abandoned in the fifth galaxy,
Somewhere or other. Yeah.
another
At a
car.
monastery or somewhere.
Yeah, another car bit of information.
What?
Didn't you say that he was from the?
Oh no,
fifth
no,
galaxy?
it's somewhere in the Ford Galaxy. Uh-huh. And my daughter doesn't know much about cars, so I
I'm
explained to her
sorry.
the Ford Galaxy is
Yeah.
a make and model motor vehicle.
So hilarious. So anyway, he realizes he's got this medallion that has all the scribblings
Yeah.
that he doesn't know what it could mean. It could mean his parents' name. It could be a date of birth thing,
Could be a bad joke on it.
probably,
My dog got his nose cut off the other day.
or
How they smell? Terrible.
made in China, yada yada yada.
Made in China. Very good. Made in Tatooine. Maybe.
Oh yes. So anyway, I love this bit where they're about to kiss, and dear old
Dot matrix.
alarm goes off.
Got a Virgin alarm on a robot. Not bad, eh?
Yeah, it sounds like a lot like a Navy alarm, maybe. I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with Army as well as cars.
Yeah, an alarm. Just go on with it.
Yeah, anyway, later the next morning, they wander the desert, totally spaced out and drunk,
Spaced out.
and no water whatsoever.
Yeah, there's some water,
Water, oil,
food, room
service,
service.
room service.
Yeah,
I love that bit.
yeah,
That's
right.
one's clever.
very good.
Yes, and eventually they're dehydrated and they collapse in the sand. Ouch.
Now these little guys.
Da 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 da
What
da
the little guys? Jawas?
Jawas or some-
Yeah,
oh, do-
in Star Wars.
Yes.
Those little guys are Jawas. They're little guys about like dwarves, riding that sand crawler around. Well, this is obviously a rip-off of these guys as well. Yeah,
Yeah, except they're a lot more well dressed.
Well, they're nice, they sparkly little eyes and everything, and also bing, 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 bing. And do they?
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, they help Lone Star and his friends.
gave them some
And I
water,
love the word dialogue he says here. He says, "Did I miss something? When did we hit the Disneyland?"
Yeah, so
I wonder if Mel Brooks knew at the time that Disney was going to end up owning Star Wars years later.
Interesting that, hey.
Hey, if H.G. Wells if Jules Verne can predict certain technology, who could say Mel Brooks may have predicted technology?
Yeah, well, there you go. You never know. Yeah. Okay. Move on.
Moving on, so they end up going to the hidden underground area
Which is Yoda's precincts,
whatever.
place,
And
cave, whatever.
They head inside, and Barth mentions that makes me think of the Temple of Doom.
And that's And then when the four of them were walking down this hallway, it reminded you of the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, only Dot acts more like the Cowardly Lion in this scene.
Yeah.
Even though it should be the John Candy on the other way around, but
Well,
it's
then you think about it. You got the girl
Yeah.
playing Dorothy.
Yills.
You had a tin person,
Yills.
and you had a cowardly lion and a scarecrow.
Eh.
Now he could be the scarecrow, Bill Pullman, and Barth would have to be a lion, being a half man, half dog.
I know, but
they
seem to mix up the-
they weren't doing a parody of the Wizard of Oz.
it would have made sense more.
Okay.
So anyway, the statue that on the other end, which is a very big statue of Yogurt, I mentioned,
Yogurt.
and
Yogurt the
comes to
Eternal.
life, and there was
Yogurt the
fire
Magnificent.
coming out of its ears and stuff like that. And he says, "Oh, dares come to Yogurt's house," not stuff. Well,
Yeah.
not those words,
Whatever,
but,
something like
but he appears in his midget form. No,
Yeah,
on his knees form.
He had a robe on, so he was actually crawling around his knees, making him look like a dwarf. Yeah.
Yeah, and everyone's saying, "Yogurt, who cannot forget Yogurt? Yoga the wise, Yoga the powerful, Yoga the magnificent.
Oh,
And
just call me. I'm just plain yogurt. Yeah.
And he remarks that he's the keeper of greater magic, a power known throughout the universe, known
Merchandising.
as the Swartz.
That's right, the Swartz.
And of course, they ask him, "What is this place? What do they do here?" And they say, "Merchandising."
Yes.
Of course, we mentioned earlier, dear old Mel Brooks, who cannot merchandise.
You wonder whether he put the scene in because he wasn't allowed to merchandise.
I know.
He took a bit of a liberty there, saying I can't merchandise, so Yoda can merchandise. Yeah,
Yes.
I don't know, but
So it was kind of funny, that bit, and we do see a lot throughout this movie the merchandise bits and pieces, like as in
pretend
references
like
here and
product
there.
placement. You got Spaceballs, the hand towel, Spaceballs, the toilet paper,
Spaceballs, the bed cover.
Yeah, everything has Spaceballs written
And
on
they
it.
and they have Spaceballs and the word underneath, to identify what the object is.
Yeah.
Which I think
Quite
is kind of
funny,
stupid.
And it was quite humorous way that everything had Spaceballs written on it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Yes.
so he couldn't product place. Well, yeah, he could product place, but he couldn't merchandise. So
Yes. So anyway,
what's the name of the movie? Spaceballs. Anyway.
yes. So anyway, he then Yogurt starts training Lone Star, sort of like Yoda with Luke and with the Swartz.
Had a ring on his finger.
Yeah, it's a special kind of ring, sort of a power ring or something.
Power to Swartz.
Yeah, and of course, Lone Star does a good job, and it kind of flattens dear old Darth's foot
But
in
he
a funny
drops
way.
Yoda's statue on his foot, and it looks like he's wearing flippers.
And then dear old Yogurt takes the ring and says, "Upsy daisy, upsy amazing, upsy
Upsy
daisy."
Yeah.
And then
He's very good at it.
yeah, I love the flat foot bit. It's all comedy, but I love
Bath.
it.
Oh.
I mean, it's kind of clever how they did that scene. Anyway, dear old Dark Helmet finds out where they are, and they find the place, and he yells, "Yogurt, yogurt! I hate yogurt. He's a strawberry."
Yeah, somewhat, yeah.
And he remarks that Yoda has got sports. He's far too powerful. And dear old Colonel Sanders says, "But sir, your ring, don't you have the Swartz too?" And he says, "No, I have the upside. I have the downside, and he's got the upside. There's two sides to every Swartz."
Yeah.
Anyway, he
I
then
lost something in that one, but anyway, that's okay.
they then trick dear old Vesper out of the hideout.
Yoda's place, yeah.
Yeah, and of course they abduct her and they take off or something. Whoosh. And of course, dear old Yoda gives the Lone Star and Bath some petrol. Strange.
No, he gave him some. He gave him petrol, and he also gave him that tin of liquid Swartz, wasn't it?
Not unknown to them.
It was in the glove box, yeah.
It was much later.
It was in the glove
and
box,
and he gives him a fortune cookie, and he said, "Open it in case you need it."
Later on.
Yeah. And that was much later on. So
the
anyway,
movie.
he then wishes him well and gives him the special ring of the Swartz. Tells him, "You might need that too." And so they head off to rescue Princess Vespa. And he gives, I love this next bit where they're interrogating, not interrogating, the king. And in the scene, they are gonna torture Princess Vespa by giving her back her old nose.
Yeah, she had a really huge, horrible nose. He's gonna, and he's gonna fix her nose back the way it was.
Yeah,
and,
a horrible nose, worse than what
plastic
you.
surgery on him.
Yeah.
So, how rude.
Yes, it's hilarious. What kind of torture you expect from Mel Brooks?
A comfy chair. No, that was Monty Python.
But eventually, King Roland was able to break down and say, "Okay, I'll tell you the combination to the airlock for the them to access the air." He says it says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they said that's the stupidest combination we ever heard. It sounds like like it's some kind of idiot's luggage. I mean,
the combination for someone's luggage. Yeah, and then President Scrooge comes in there and he says, What? We got the password. Yeah, that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's amazing. That's the same as the password of my luggage, the combination of my luggage. And you go, and everyone's going,
You were saying. At least it's Mel
Right.
Brooks, so it's okay to make
But
fun
all
of
the
him.
the little quick jokes. We stop focusing on the jokes and focus on the story.
Okay, so
Otherwise, these people die of old age.
sorry. So anyway, Lone Star and Bath they soon arrive, and they tricked a couple of the guards there to after being rude to them, and they steal the costumes and head inside.
Exactly.
Anyway, they head inside. They go into the prison thing, and they soon find the princess. And there was a bit of a fight scene there, which is a lot of fun.
Wham, bam, pow. I think you're Batman. Yeah.
Yeah, and I love the bit where Princess Vespa takes the gun and then.
Well, yeah. See, I'm a little girly whirly, and I can't touch a gun. And one of the shots damaged a couple of bits of her hair. Then she got really mean, and then shot all the guys who were shooting at her.
I think that was taken from Blues Brothers, where it was with Carrie Fisher, obviously.
Possibly, yeah, because she was pretty good for gunning that, wasn't she?
Yeah, in that movie.
Yeah.
So, anyway, they then blow this popsicle stand, and they head off to stop dear old Dark Helmet and his cronies.
Exactly.
Yes, and their ship turns into a gigantic maid of sorts.
Dark Helmets. Yeah, that their ship turns into
A maid.
something like the Statue of Liberty with a vacuum cleaner. Okay, now,
As I said, a maid.
vacuum aid or something rather. Yeah.
Yes.
And they're going to suck all the air out into this big vacuum cleaner bag, which looks very small for the amount of air they got to put into it, but. Needless to say,
Yes,
they were going to do it.
Yes, so they begin to suck up the air, continuing chanting "suck, suck, suck." Like I say that.
Suck, suck, suck. Yeah.
And so the air gets taken out, and
Lots
along
of
with
it.
some trees and some
Whatever.
snow from the mountain,
Yeah,
and
it's a nice
and
visual
King Roland
effect.
is slowly saying goodbye to his daughter's photo
As
and
he's passing out
out.
for lack of air. And then Bull Pullman.
Dear old Lone Star,
Lone
he
Star,
takes
yeah.
the special magic ring and he points it at the
Vacuum cleaner
vacuum
thing.
cleaner switch and turns the button there into reverse,
And it
blowing
blows
all the
your
air
air
back
back down,
onto
yeah.
the
Well,
planet.
isn't that lovely?
And of course, they then make plans to go inside the actual head of the
Spaceball
space
one
ball
and destroy
in
it.
order to destroy it.
Yay.
So they head inside, and it's like really cool, the scene. And
It looks like a game, a
Like-
computer game, doesn't it?
hey, it's the 80s.
Okay. Yeah, well, yeah, well.
Even in the olden days, it was very.
Amiga 1000 or Commodore 64, remember the days, folks.
Ah, yes. So anyway, they head inside there. They search for the possible place to that will probably be the life force behind the spacecraft. And
Whatever.
Yeah. Anyway, Lone Star goes down there and starts getting, walking around trying to find the button, the self-destruction button.
And who does he meet?
Dear old Dark Helmet.
Yay.
And they have a bit of a brief fight in a comedistic kind of way.
A bit like the lightsaber, a bit with, you know who and you know who.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I love that bit. Anyway, it's hilarious, that bit. So anyway, soon enough, Lone Star loses the ring, and he's left with defenseless against dear old Dark Helmet's ring and himself. And
But then
But
he
then
hears a
he
voice.
use the swords. No, sorry.
Use the Swartz. But lost the ring, you don't need it. The Swartz is in within you.
Yes.
And we got this, I think, from Star Wars. Eh?
Yeah. Anyway,
yeah.
he then uses the swords and is able to get a mirror and
When Dark Helmet shoots something at him, it bounces back.
and
It's
stabs
Dark
him.
Helmet, and he falls back in the button, which
Sucks
is
him.
the self-destruct button.
Yeah.
What a great move.
Yeah.
It's like playing pool, really good.
Yes.
2 cushion shot.
Yeah, anyway, everyone begins to panic, and luckily Lone Star, and he gets onto his ship, and they begin to blast off. And while everyone else inside the Spaceballs ship begin to panic and start heading to the escape pods. And this is where I mentioned earlier the scene where they use similar footage from the original Star Wars
I'll
film.
take your word on that.
From the New Hope one where they escape with escape pods.
Take your word on that.
Yes. Anyway, the only members left are on the spaceship are Dark Helmet, Colonel Sanders, and
President Scrooge.
They're all stuck in there, and unfortunately, they can't do the cancellation button because it's out of order.
Yep. Funny that name.
And I love the bit of word that Rick says here. He says, "Even in the future, nothing works." Anyway, the countdown continues, and the place blows.
Now, the funny part is, these three guys are in the head.
Yes.
That's where the self-destruct button was. And you would think the self-destruct button might have blown the head up. No, it blew the head off. They're tumbling through space inside the head. And they haven't ruptured the air lock on the thingy, so they're still breathing. Quite interesting, isn't it? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, anyway, as they are travelling back through down to the Druid planet, they get news on the news that dear old Pizza the Hut has kicked the bucket.
Yeah, he got locked in a car or something rather and ate himself to death. He ate him, or you know what I mean. Anyway.
Yeah. And Buff says that now that he's out of the way, they can take the money, all of it.
Yeah.
But Lone Star is
He felt guilty about taking the money because he didn't.
Yeah.
He was in love.
Yeah. And this is where my favorite scene throughout this movie is where they're at a sort of diner of sorts, and they're
space diner, if you will.
Space diner, and this diner looks just like something out of the 80s or the 70s. I don't know.
But in space, so yeah.
And where we get to see some good eye candy.
Oh yeah, some nice looking models there, or good looking babe there as a waitress.
Yes. Oh man, I love the dialogue.
Anyway,
Anyway, this is where we mentioned earlier about how John Hurt's scene where he's eating food with his pals, and then he starts
jokes and whatever,
and then he starts hurling, and then somehow
falls over on his back, and this little creature jumps out of his chest and whatever.
And Barth says, "Waitress, what did he order?" And the waitress says, "Oh, he had the special," and that's what he ordered. And he says, "Change my order to the soup." But then the creature pops out of his chest, starts hissing, jumps onto the diner's table,
and then starts singing and dancing.
Starts singing, "Hello, my honey. Hello, my honey."
Wait a minute. Right there. If anyone remembers an old cartoon, I think Looney Tunes did it.
I think
about a guy who found a singing frog in a box.
Yeah.
But the frog would only sing for the man only, and every time the man tried to make money out of it, the frog would just sit there. With the same voice and the same antics and whatever.
Anyway,
quite good.
I love the expressions everyone took when they looked at this creature doing this Enoch, and it's really funny.
Well,
and I love Paul Newman and John Kenny.
Paul Newman?
Not Newman. I mean Paul Newman.
Bill Pullman.
Bill Pullman and John Kenny stand up and say, "Check, please."
And they left. They didn't eat. They didn't wait for food.
I don't think I would want to stay anyway
Not
for an encore. Anyway.
Yeah, an encore. Wait for another one. Yeah.
Anyway, so we then go back to the Vesper's wedding, take two.
And it actually says take two on the outside the church.
A lot like something out of a film shoot of sorts.
Like a sequel to the first wedding.
Yeah. So anyway, he finds out from her dad that Lone Star didn't take the millions. He just took 200 space bucks for just a gas and lunch, or if not the lunch part, considering they just left.
Expense money, yeah, that's it. And
yes. Anyway,
she realised that
yeah,
Lone Star is in love with her.
Yes. Anyway, back to Lone Star and his pal Bath. They're in the spaceship. They're heading off to gosh knows where, and Bath's complaining about how they didn't accept the millions. And he's hungry. But then Lone Star remembers the fortune cookie, and so he hands it to Bath, and Bath cracks it open like,
And it's a message from Yoda.
Yeah, in a
A
yeah,
little bit
and
like R2D2 sort of projected message.
yeah, sort of, or
Yeah.
something like Obi-Wan Kenobi type
Yeah, I know.
message.
Yeah, so yeah, everyone.
Yes.
Yeah,
So anyway,
whatever.
dear old Yoga tells them that here's your fortune. You know that medallion you wear across your neck, Lone Star? Well, it's actually a birth certificate
Birth certificate. Yeah,
that says your mother was a queen and your father was a king,
and that makes him
a certified
princess.
prince.
Oh, prince. Yeah, right, right, right.
And this thrills dear old Lone Star, which means that he gets a chance
To
of
marry the
marrying
princess.
So he's then told by Yoga that they have a special can of
Liquid
liquid
Swartz.
Gasoline in
Liquid Swartz.
liquid Swartz that will get them there in a heartbeat.
Yeah, so they pour that in the fuel tank and it all goes glowy and everything. Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, and then they soon arrive to the wedding just before they get to the I do's because after
She was just about to say, I
see.
do not. Yeah, and when he
Yeah,
walked in.
yeah.
And he's dressed in really nice clothes,
Yeah,
ready for a
a
wedding
lot
and
more
everything. He looks so
princey
lovely.
looking.
Yeah.
Anyway, he then asks her, "Will you marry me?" And she says, "Well, let me think about it."
Yes.
2 seconds.
Push the other guy out of the way. Come here.
Yes.
And this priest or cardinal or bishop, whatever he was,
not too
is
happy.
getting really annoyed. So, okay, we're going to do the really, really short version. Do you? Yeah, do you? Right, now, kiss her. And that was it. Really,
Yeah.
That's a really short ceremony.
Yeah, and then and Dot says, "Well, but goodbye, Virgin Mom, whatever."
Yeah,
And now that they're
bugger.
married,
Yeah.
and then we watch them getting into this. Well, we don't see them getting into the spaceship, his spaceship.
it goes off
but
it, yeah,
it says, "Just married,"
On the back, yeah.
and that's about it. And it says, what we see in the sky, may the Swartz be with you.
And it lovely.
The end.
The end. Now, post-mortem time. Ooh. Actually, one thing, there was talk at different stages about doing a sequel, and I think now it's been so long, it's not obviously going to be a sequel.
There was a bit of a tiny cartoon they did a while back, but I haven't bothered to check it out myself.
It's been done. This has been done over 30 years ago. Unfortunately, no, I can't see it. And I'm not saying Mel's too old to do it, but I think he's got better things to do now, like play golf maybe. Look for his teeth in the morning. That sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mel.
If I haven't said this before, Mel Brooks tried to enlist either Tom Cruise or Tom Hanks for the role of Lone Star.
They didn't want it.
Yeah.
But the thing, he wanted a name star in it to make it a bit of a draw card.
Yeah.
But then John Candy and Rick Moranis came on, and not being rude to Bill Pullman, he said, "Oh, I don't care who I get for the lead role now, because I got 2 names here." And they actually found Bill Pullman acting in a theatre.
Cool.
He wasn't an actor. He wasn't a screen actor. He was a stage actor, I
that's
believe.
cool.
So that was his Bill Pullman's. I suppose, introduction to the silver screen, folks.
I gotta admit though, I don't think Tom Hanks would have cut it. I've seen him in, this is around the time when he was making that other movie, what was it called, Forrest Gump? And I don't think this role would fit him.
He's a different style of actor, and Tom Cruise is... I don't know. I mean, I can't see Tom Cruise being really good in this role. It's too light-hearted and comical. I look at Tom Cruise, I think of Top Gun. I think of Mission Impossible movies. Not comedies.
Yeah, and this is supposed to be he's the guy who's supposed to play in this is sort of supposed to look like a Harrison Ford meets Luke Skywalker type character
that sort
role.
of person. A bit of that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Farm boy, come gunslinger, come scallywag, come whatever. And I really can't see Tom Hanks may have, because Tom Hanks has been in comedies.
But I don't see him playing the gunslinger.
I can't see Tom Cruise, but Tom Hanks maybe. But but I'm glad they did Bill Pullman. He did a really good job. Didn't Bill Pullman playing Casper?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he does. So he
Much
did
later on.
Yeah, a couple
years
years later. But the point is, he got him into the movies. So good. Anyway, irrespective, folks. Now, Mel Brooks wanted the parody to be closest possible to the Star Wars thing, like I said before, and George Lucas came on board and said, "Yeah, but you can't merchandise." Now that
That's understandable.
no, because obviously these figurines, Lone Star would look like Luke Skywalker
Or Harrison Ford.
Harrison Ford or something. Princess Leia and Princess Vesper look
Yeah,
the same.
they have a similar hairstyle
Yeah, well,
at
they're
the
copying
beginning.
it, see, so it would be really hard, and George Lucas was obviously making money on merchandising, and wasn't going to give the merchandising rights away. So
Yeah, another
can
thing
understand
is
that, yeah.
another thing in one scene where Dark Helmet is dressed in a safari clothing, searching for Lone Star and the group. He's on top of a floating vehicle, like from similar. But in reality, the vehicle was not floating nor suspended on wires or any of that kind of stuff, but it was on top of a platform that was surrounded by mirrors that reflect the sand around it to give it the appearance of floating. Even though
Yeah.
me and Mike have looked at it and we can
You
see,
can see the mirror.
a bit of an edge
Yeah,
there.
look, it wasn't meant to be perfect. It was comical. It was yeah. It
Reminds me a little bit of those magician tricks you
Yeah,
see
yeah.
from Houdini or
And that's
other
what-
magicians'
But,
magic.
but here's something. George Lucas, when he saw the movie, sent Mel Brooks a note saying how much he loved the film,
That was nice of him.
including the story structure, and that he was afraid that he would bust something while laughing so hard. So he could actually see the funny side that Mel Brooks brought into the Star Wars story.
Well, that was always cool.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, see, he was on the board for this film. Unlike certain filmmakers who try to outdo one another sometimes, or make out that we don't want you to make us look like jokes in the media.
Exactly. Now, actually, another thing is with the lady Daphne Zuniga, whatever her name is, Zuniga, whatever. She didn't feel comfortable doing this movie originally.
Really?
She thought it was too crass and not too funny and whatever. But she spoke with Mel Brooks, and she found him a really nice man, and he convinced her that it was worthwhile making the movie. And I think she then enjoyed working with Mel Brooks. So there you go.
That is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, my favourite bit, critical reception.
Oh boy.
Now, I have got a few things here, like I normally write down a few things, but I'll go through a couple of them, but I've got a few comments at the end of it I'm going to make. Rotten Tomatoes reports that as at 2020, had about 57% of the critics had given positive reviews based on 40 reviews, an average of, 6.39 out of 10. Ooh. A general consensus says there's fine spoof-free and amusing characters in Spaceballs, so it's a far cry from Mel Brooks' peak era. Huh? I got just
What does that mean anyway?
pretentious bullshit.
Mike, don't online.
I don't care. I mean, I think I just about every Mel Brooks movie. This is up there with them. And they say, oh, it's not as good as other movies. Oh,
No,
rubbish.
Rubbish.
I think it's a good movie. But anyway, irrespective, Metacritic, that gave it about 46%, only based on 14 reviews. So no one's actually reviewing the movie, so it's not accurate. Many critics agreed that while it was funny, doing a Star Wars parody 10 years after the original film had been released seemed pointless. Hello?
Oh boy. And
I-
yet, box office wouldn't not lie to you.
I mean, you think about it, Frankenstein, and then you did, Mel Brooks did Young Frankenstein?
Yeah.
That was years later, and that was a good movie. Hello, that was well after 10 years. So, again, they're wrong.
I swear sometimes I just think they just do this just to get everyone under their
Now,
skin.
here's a part I don't like, and I'm going to mention his name. Roger Ebert from the Chicago Sun-Times gave the film 2.5 out of 4, and remarked, I enjoyed a lot of the movie, but I kept thinking I was at a revival. It should have been made several years ago before our appetite for Star Wars satires had been completely exhausted. Now, wait a minute. And I'm confused about that statement. Because not accounting foreign films like Japanese and European movies, I've only found 2 movies that closely were parodies or satires of Star Wars. One of them was called The Hardware Wars. That was done in 78. It was 13-minute long teaser parody spoof. And the second was a thing called Hyperspace, also known as Gremloids, 1984. That was a 3D science fiction comedy film. How could you exhaust it? You only had one movie and a teaser trailer. Now, yes, you might have had other science fiction movies with a man and a lady in it, but crikey, they didn't copy Star Wars, so hello, they weren't parodies of Star Wars.
And not to mention, dear old Mel wanted to do this movie just after
And it takes
George
a while
was
to
all
put these
done
together.
with the Star Wars French thing.
And if you look at it, if he's encompassed the 3 movies from 1977 to 83, after 83, it was only 4 years after the last movie, it was out. So he's put the 3 movies together into one parody. So you can't do it before the movies are made, then you got to put the script idea together, storyline, then do the script, and you do this, blah, blah, blah. It takes a while to do it.
Yeah.
So these critics still do not know what they are talking about.
Yeah, and you have to be inside dear old Mel's head when he was thinking about the script. He was probably brainstorming what directions to use, but
Exactly.
all the time, if he missed something, like say he missed out on the part where we find out Luke Skywalker is the son of Darth Vader, that would have been some kind of interesting revelation.
They
scene.
brought that into it into this movie too. Dark Helmet says,
I am your father's brothers,
so and so, next door neighbours, so and so, blah 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 blah. And Bill Lone Star says, what's that mean? What's it make you to me? Absolutely nothing.
Yes. If we didn't have that, then we wouldn't. It would. We would just have only, say, just New Hope to get our ideas from.
And New Hope was a good movie, but it wasn't the full story.
Yeah.
It was leading on to sequels. So they had the 3 movies, 4, 5, and 6, which is a complete story from the point where Luke Skywalker came into it.
Yeah.
And which is loosely Luke Skywalker, Han Solo meets Lone Star. So I think it's a damn fine movie.
I think so. I like this one, and I liked Dracula Dead and Loving It, and I loved the Robin Hood Men in Tights one.
Robin Hood Men in Tights, that is totally incorrect as well. Great movie.
And my favourite TV shows Mel did or worked on would be Get Smart and When Things Were Rotten, which is is another spin-off of sort of Robin Hood too.
Yeah, that's another point. See, Robin Hood TV series were done years before that, and When Things Were Rotten was a damn fine, funny, short,
really
short-lived
cool
TV series. It was funny, very tongue-in-cheek. I mean, I wouldn't say it was low budget, but it wasn't top of the pile, not top of the pile, but it was a really funny spoof on Robin Hood.
Yeah, I like it.
I mean, made Marion seem to be smarter than Robin Hood.
She was cute.
Yeah, she was cute. Misty something.
Misty, R-O-W-E.
Raw?
Yeah.
R-A-W-E, is it?
R-O-W-E.
Oh, Roe, yeah.
Yeah, she's
Misty
a nice
Rowe.
lady.
Yeah.
I've been in contact with her, and I'm hoping to have an interview with her later on.
Yeah, and put that in Phantasmagorical magazine, is it? Or?
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed and everything.
So, she had fun doing it, but it was a good, short,
also, I should
movie.
mention, guys, she's put together a bit of a bio, biography novel, a book about her life as an actress and model and stuff like that. So,
what's it called?
It's called Misty Memories.
Oh, okay.
A nice, good title, I might add.
Is it out yet?
Yeah, it's already out there in the on her website. If you like to check it out, guys.
Now, if everybody has seen Robin Hood Men in Tights, When Things Were Rotten, at the TV series.
Yeah, it's worth watching, guys. It's got a lot of tongue in cheek.
Is that on YouTube, or is that can you get it on Amazon? Or
you can get it on Amazon. That's where I got my copy from.
Yeah. It's funny. It's good. It's got a lot of well-known actors from TV sitcoms in it and stuff. Bernie Capel and other people.
Yeah.
And the guy, lead Robin Hood guy, he was out of Get Smart, wasn't he?
Yeah, he played Jaime in the TV series.
Yeah, that sort of stuff. And they had, you'll see a few people in there you find you've come across before. and they're all funny. A bunch of comedians thrown together to make a Robin Hood spoof. Really good.
Yeah, she's Anyway, I do like that one, and I think they used bits from that TV series to create Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Probably, yeah. I think that was sort of maybe a catalyst for it. Maybe.
Of course, they had to use a lot of other modern day bit of humor to throw in there to make it.
TV's. I won't be rude, but I'd say a low budget TV series is not the same as putting a decent feature length film together. So it's a different approach altogether.
True, and not to mention, TV has a lot more say on what you're allowed to put out there.
Yeah, but forgetting that too. But you have to look. TV acting and TV shows are nothing like a movie.
True.
But you might get movies made for TV. Won't necessarily meet the standard of an A movie in the cinemas.
Yeah, I know. I just meant that Mel Brooks's movies are quite different from the TV shows because while he may have put a lot of funny what was the word you used when you were describing Spaceballs humor? Politically incorrect humor. And
I mean, years ago you wouldn't think about it, but now you think, oh, we wouldn't get away with that nowadays. That sort of stuff. So we saw a movie recently called The Mannequin, was it?
Yeah.
Okay, there's a few things in that which are okay, not too bad, but there's a gay window dresser called Hollywood in it. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm sure if that movie was made today, you'd have protests. Mm-hmm. Because he's just so over the top, funny, but people would complain about it. And I just find that people complain about anything. Oh, I don't like it. I'm going to make a formal complaint. How about getting a sense of humour?
Yes, exactly.
Laugh at yourself. It's the world's too serious now.
It seems that everyone,
we've got famine, we've got poverty, we've got everything else going on.
It seems like everyone hasn't bothered to focus on the good things about movies.
Yeah, I know.
Even if it's something old and it may have been politically wrong now, but it's still funny back then.
Yeah, I mean, look, there are things which got period humour, which doesn't work from generation to generation. But you look at things like now I don't know if the Benny Hill show and Morecambe Wise show actually made it to America. They were good, funny half-hour comedy shows on TV here in England and Australia. Now the point is, the humour was good 40 years ago, based on what people thought was funny 40 years ago. Do the same show now, I don't think people like them.
No.
Because humour's changed.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. Not taking anything away from the guys who made the humour, but they were creatures of their time. How's that?
Exactly so.
Yeah, it's like some of the early film directors and producers. You say 50, 60, 70, 80 years ago. Do the same thing now, it wouldn't be acceptable because everything's changed. It's grown, it's matured, everything's changed. So, things change. People's taste change. We want different things. We expect different things. Humour changes. We get desensitised to that. Everything has to change a little bit. But Mel, I like Mel Brooks movies, and
I still watch.
I enjoy them every time I watch them.
TV shows, and I still watch the movies ever so often to get back to something I can really enjoy.
Exactly, and innocent fun too, I might add. Have a look at it. Was there any sex involved? There was implied sex, but there was no sex. Okay. Right?
Yes.
They think, ooh, they're getting close, warm and fluffy, but they didn't because the virgin alarm on the robot. Okay. Same thing in Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Well, that's one thing that we haven't realised, that Star Wars never does any touchy-feely sexy bits.
No, it gets close. It indicates there might be something going on. We never go there. But getting back to Robin Hood Men in Tights, it was a similar. Dot Matrix had a virgin alarm on her, stopping the princess from losing her virginity. And in Robin Hood Men in Tights, Maid Marian had a handmaid and companion there who was like a dot matrix to make sure she kept the virginity. I mean, she had the added bonus of having a chastity belt on. So, the same sort of analogy there.
Yeah, well, you got to admit though, Star Wars, as far as I can remember, knows how to keep it zipped sometimes.
And everything is, if things are implied but not done. It's
Yeah.
not like we're doing a sci-fi horror, but you don't see.
It's one of many.
Sure, but you don't see the creature. You see how it's affecting the people. You don't see a hideous monster. You see people reacting to the hideous monster or something, and yeah, that can be sometimes more scary than seeing someone in a prosthetic suit.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might see an arm come out or something. I saw a sci-fi years ago. All you saw was from the alien's perspective. You saw an eye looking at the people. They're like through a transparent eye. I can't remember the name of it now. You didn't actually see the alien.
Yeah, point of view shot.
Point of view, but you saw it like through an eye. You saw the outline of the eye membrane, the pupil and the iris or whatever, like you're looking through it. And that was, so what was it? We never knew.
Yeah.
And it was still a good movie.
So anyway, back to, so as I was saying earlier, I mean, Star Wars has always been known for, is an old-fashioned type movie.
Yeah,
when
good,
you look
wholesome family entertainment with a lot of violence in it.
Yeah, like it doesn't focus on sex or other things.
It was a sci-fi action adventure.
True.
Well, like Indiana
True.
Jones.
It's
in
just
space.
like a lot of old movies, like the ones like go back to the 1950s movies that didn't show any sexual activities except kissing each other.
that sort of stuff. Yeah.
That's pretty much covers.
I mean, do you need to see someone go to the toilet in a movie?
Well, no, you can't.
No. Think of it. No, you think of it. No, everyone knows everyone goes to the toilet.
Of course we do.
It's at least once a day for a dump and maybe several times for a pee. Now, point is, we know it happens. We know sex happens. We know this happens. We know people eat. But do you have to see everybody 24/7 through a movie? He's going there, he's having a dump, he's coming out, he's having his cornflakes or whatever, he's going over there. No, you don't. A lot of it's got to be implied. Leave your imagination to fill in the blanks. You don't have to see a sex scene to know they had sex.
Yes, true. Anyway,
unless it's important to the movie.
Yeah, and I noticed when they did the new Star Wars movies, they were trying to stop not even so much as mention the words love or try to imply that there was some sexual.
Movie?
Yeah, well, in the new franchise ones that came out,
the last movie especially.
Yeah,
there seemed to be a relationship developing between that dark guy and that Asian-looking girl.
Yeah,
and all of a sudden it went really cold in the last movie.
Well, I just meant that all the new Star Wars franchise, they don't even they don't even mention it. They think that Star Wars should be a bit of a feminist twist, and even though I role model, I kind of practically idolize dear old Carrie Fisher, and I like the fact she's a strong character as Princess Leia. But it doesn't mean that she has to remain a nun. I see her as she can have it all if she wants to. She can have the man she likes,
She had Han Solo.
and she can be still a very controlled woman.
Yeah.
A very good, strong leader.
A good leader, yeah.
In the female sense
But
and in the Rebel Alliance sense.
They didn't see any sex scenes, but they had a kid.
No doubt.
See, so you didn't need to see it. Just say it's taken for granted. They must have had sex. They got married, had sex, had a kid. Yeah.
And when
it was like when Star Wars, the original #1 movie or 2, where Anakin Skywalker and Padme got together. That would be #2, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Well, in the third movie, that she mentioned they were pregnant and they were sleeping together.
Movie,
It was implied.
But you didn't see it. It said, "I'm pregnant." That was it.
Yeah. I kept wondering throughout that.
Didn't need it.
Yeah, I kept wondering throughout those movies whether or not how you're going to put in that part about they're going to have kids. Yeah. I mean, I kept thinking, how are you going to do this? It's going to be really hard to put that in words, or let alone in a few scenes.
Yeah. So, but the best part is then it didn't not putting in it left it better to develop the storyline and concentrate on the sci-fi action adventure part of the movie, and that's what it is.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, that's where I think that dear old Disney gets it wrong. They keep swishing.
No, sometimes they get it wrong, and sometimes they get it so right.
Yeah, but I just meant
Look at Tron.
Well, you were saying before that movies concentrate on two major emotion levels: They like if it's a scary movie, you would concentrate on the fear part
Exactly
to the
right, yes.
cornerstone into your mind
Yeah.
movie. And there's the lovey-dovey moments you get between characters. You want to cheer them on. You want to support them that they would soon enough become, emotionally interested in one
You
another.
bring emotion into movies,
Yeah.
whether it's fear, love, hate, happiness, what.
I mentioned to
Yeah.
you this in the past, guys. If you were making a movie, be sure to have those
Elements.
those elements. Do not just say you're just doing it because of a feminist this thing, because that doesn't always work.
But if even a feminist can have hate, love, whatever, it doesn't have to be.
Yeah, they don't
sex,
have to.
love.
They don't
Yeah,
have
yeah.
to be nuns.
Yeah,
I don't want to be.
yeah.
I don't like my character growing up to become a nun and think that the whole world, male world, is against her.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah.
When we live in a bit of a modern world, women can be powerful and men can be equally powerful. And
Well,
I don't believe.
females should be able to stand one on one with men in different arenas. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
Movies, politics, whatever. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I don't believe the fact that
Business world.
that that I don't believe it's critically correct that women should be more powerful than men. I
No.
believe in an equalness in a
It should
film.
be equal. No, it's been too long. Men have been more powerful than females, and a lot of females who are getting this feminist sort of rubbish think, "Oh, we're better than men." Well, and then it turn around and they ask men to help them out. They've got a problem.
Yeah,
Yeah, so you can't have it both ways. So standing side by side,
yeah. I like
shoulder to shoulder, meeting things together, which is the best way to be.
meaning
Yeah.
on the same level, wavelength, if that's the word.
And try to be the same. Yeah, try to be equal partners. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you run a business. You have partners. You don't have one being in charge there and telling the other guy what to do if they're a partner. You both run it. You both have equal say in the business.
Yeah, it's
whether
just like
a marriage or a business or politics
like a
or
marriage,
movie.
like you said, Mike.
yeah.
A marriage involves two people
Working together.
No slavery.
So in a business sense or a movie sense, story, same thing. You can't have, I am the hero and you're going to be little girlie that I'm going to save. Yeah, that would have been been and gone 40, 50, 60 years ago.
Yeah,
Not nowadays.
and if it's a movie just mostly based on women being more powerful than men, I won't watch it.
Yeah, because it's wrong. It's not supposed to be there. How about movies reflecting reality?
Yeah, I mean,
And reality is
in the reality
we can
all
stand together.
Yeah, and I often think we can, still have it all and have the guy we like.
yeah, and the girl can ask the guy out nowadays.
Yeah,
Aha. Guys.
true.
Remember that.
Yes. So anyway, do you want?
I'm going to give this one
Let's give this movie a rating.
9.5 or 10. 9.5. I can't find anything wrong with the movie.
Me neither.
I'm going to give it 10.
I'm going to give it a 10.5 out of 10.
We can't. You're going to give it 11 out of 10. Okay, fine.
What? I think that's
No, it's
just
good.
how
movie.
good.
Mel Brooks, love him or hate him, whatever. He makes a damn fine movie and TV series. He knows how to put it together. Now, whether you like a Mel Brooks type movie, it's up to you, but we like it. How's
Agreed.
that? And you said they can get it on Amazon?
Yeah, you can get it on Amazon. And I'm not sure if they're streaming this movie on anything like Netflix or anything. But check the channels, guys, and be sure you can.
Find it, yeah.
And surely, maybe you might find it.
But yeah. However, good one, Mel Brooks.
Yeah, thumbs up.
We might do another Mel Brooks movie later on.
Yeah.
But yeah, we won't concentrate on going through all his movies.
No.
And if we do Stephen King later, we're not going to do every Stephen King movie. That'll
Not
take
necessarily all through.
We might do
all
the
day.
odd one or two here and there, but yeah. There's just so many movies out there and so little time.
Yes, and so many remakes here and there.
Yeah, I don't like remakes unless it's a better remake than the first one. Actually, remember that one, that Bob Hope movie, Ghost Chasers, was it?
Yeah, but Ghost Chasers.
Ghost Breakers.
Ghost Breakers.
Ghost Breakers.
Sorry.
Bob Hope was in a movie years ago called Ghost Breakers, and about, was it 10, 15 years later, they did a remake of it with Jerry Lewis and Dean Martin, and they didn't want to do the movie because said, well, the first movie with Bob Hope sped the what we're going to do anyway, but the production company they were attached to said we're going to do the movie whether you like it or not.
Yeah, just so you guys know, they used word for word similar dialogue.
Yeah, and they got the Bob Hope role and split between Martin and Lewis. I mean, they didn't want to do the movie. because they could see that Bob Hope did a good movie.
Yeah, better than.
Well,
But
yeah,
it's a different humor from their humor.
Bob
That's
Hope is
what we
brilliant. Well, was brilliant. Yeah, he's a very talented man.
Yeah.
Another one. Man, that's another story. You know,
Yeah.
we might do some old movies one day. We might throw that one in there because it's a comedy horror, so it might sneak in.
Yeah.
Anyway, we want to go now.
Yeah.
These people want to go to bed now. It's
Yes.
getting
So,
been waffling on too long.
oh yeah, one more thing, guys. I thought I should mention before we head off. In next month, I'm gonna be doing. I submitted my trailer, my upcoming trailer, Attack of the Cat People, in a film festival called Brisbane Backyard Film Festival, and it's going to be on the 4th and the 5th of December. So if you guys are available, feel free to come down
if
and
you're in
check it
Australia,
out.
if you're in Australia.
Yes. So if you guys are want to come down and check it out, I wouldn't mind if you guys offer your support.
Or in Brisbane, yeah. It's and by the way, once it goes out there, Sarah will obviously put something on her website saying how she went. Because they will be assessing it, praising it on the night, will they?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, on the 5th of December, they're going to be announcing the results, probably the winners.
And just we will mention this later on probably as well, that we will probably stop doing a podcast the week before Christmas maybe, and then resume it sometime middle to late January. Is that right?
Well, in February.
Well, being the
We'll
February.
probably be on
Take
a bit of.
take about a month
We'll
off.
take
maybe.
a month off, and then we'll come back in February.
Yeah, with a whole lot of good stuff. So in between now and Christmas, you will be here twice weekly.
And we'll be sure to try to include more and more things in our next one, because this year we had our plans and we had to lay them aside because of what's been happening.
Yeah, we were going to have more of our friends come over and join us as well, doing group
Yeah,
discussions.
and
but
maybe some other, guest appearances here and there.
And it's really hard with the
And
coronavirus,
it's a little
social
hard
distancing
with all
and
this
everything. So we will have some guests come back and join us hopefully in the new year. And we'll keep doing what we're doing. And remember, we do mainly horror, sci-fi, and fantasy, but we also throw in the other interesting movies as well as we see fit. And that's why you do get the old comedy thrown in there or something which isn't quite, doesn't fit the usual criteria.
I know I promised a lot of things for this podcast.
It's been a lousy year all around,
It has been really hard to keep promises when so many things have been happening.
Yeah. Anyway, enough said.
Enough said. So, thanks for listening to this podcast, and be sure to meet us up in the Brisbane Backyard Film Festival.
If you're local.
If you're a local Brisbane person, it would be great. So
what's it called again?
Brisbane Backyard Film Festival.
And that's going to be at West End, is it?
Yes, down West End.
Yeah, West End. In
So
Brisbane.
if I don't see you there, I'll talk to you again in our next podcast. Obviously.
Exactly.
So this is Sarah Stephenson
And Michael Stephenson.
saying, "See you guys around."
Bye, guys.